name is Chris Hunter, Chief Marketing Officer of RoofingSites.com, the author of The Ultimate Guide to Digital Marketing for Roofers, member of the NRCA, RCAT, HARCA, National Roofing Contractors Association, Roofing Contractors Association of Texas, the Houston Association of Roofing Contractors. That's it. I live in College Station, Texas, right? And that's where I'm coming at you here right now. Been doing search engine optimization since 1998. If you do the math on that, that's well before Google actually even started. My first website that I ranked was my own website on Yahoo, and that really dates me. But random fact about me, this says I love backpacking in the mountains. I must have grabbed the wrong presentation this morning. This was supposed to say I love smoking Texas barbecue. Okay. And that's why I have a picture here of my brisket that I cook probably once a month. I do a brisket. My family's always asking me, can you do a brisket, Dad? So, but that's not why we're here, right? And by the way, we're on a mission to double the size of 100 roofing companies by 2028. Let's talk about the 4R roofing marketing system, right? I talk about this in every one of our workshops, and that's just because this is the framework that I built over the past 23 years of doing this whole marketing thing, and it's made up of 4 pillars. Okay, the first pillar is your reputation, right? This is your base pillar. It's your foundation. We have found that you cannot do anything at all in marketing if you have a poor reputation or a non-existent reputation or a reputation that is not growing. Okay. Next is reach. This is what most people come to me about. This is basically getting in front of more people today than knew about you yesterday. All right. Pretty simple. This is for us. A lot of what we do is Google based right now. We're starting to look into ChatGPT, and that kind of tells you a little bit about this framework is that when things stop working, we pull it out and we put things that are working in. We're constantly in research and development mode here, as marketers should be. You have to change with the times, right? Not going to spend too much on that pillar. Resell is another pillar. You're 88 times more likely to sell to somebody who has bought from you before, but very few roofers actually have a resell system, a cross-sell system, or go back to their database at all. I talked about that earlier. This is a really important pillar in the 4R marketing system. The one that we're going to talk about here today, though, and what we're going to focus on here today is the referral pillar. Okay, this is, in my opinion, one of obviously out of the 4 pillars, this is something that can significantly grow your business, but almost all roofing companies completely ignore this pillar whatsoever. Okay. So let's go ahead and jump right into that. All right. The thing that we're going to talk about today is something that we call the referral machine. Okay. Parts of this are still in development mode of what I'm going to go over here today. Parts of it are part of our system. Okay. So the very first pillar, it is made up of 3 pillars. I like pillars. Don't ask me why, right? But it's made up of 3 different pillars, right? You've got customers, okay? We call these customer ambassadors because we want them and be ambassadors of your brand, okay? Going out there for you and being your best salespeople. The next one are realtors, okay? The gentleman that I talked with said that the very first thing that he did, and by the way, he has only been in business since 2018. So we're talking 6 years at this point, right? No, 7 years. Do the math, Chris. So 7 years at this point, and he's built a phenomenal business off of primarily a referral network made up of realtors. Okay. They can be very, very good sources. The third one is insurance agents. Okay. And so obviously, insurance agents have customers, they have needs, they typically have issues with their roofs. Problem is they don't know who to refer. And we have to navigate this whole thing of regulation and we can't pay them in order for be referrals, from either realtors or insurance. So we want to make sure that we build a system that really is different than everybody else and makes them look good. And that's really what it all comes down to. Okay. Now, each one of these pillars, if we can just simply get 33 people sending us business on a regular basis, that's your 100 referral sources. Okay. It sounds like a lot, but your customers, that should be a no-brainer to go back to them, right? Especially if they had a positive experience. And we're going to talk about that. Realtors, you actually have to go out and you have to network and do a little bit of legwork in order to get a realtor network out there. Okay. So let's first talk about the very first pillar, our customer ambassador program. This is what we're calling it here. Okay. And let's talk about the power of satisfied customers. You're at about 80%, 60 to 80% close rate on referrals, right? That's why we all love referrals. I love referrals. Okay. Every single business out there loves those referrals because they're a lot easier to close. Okay. Cold leads, 15, 25% maybe, right? And typically what we see on some clients are less than 10% when they first start working with us. We try to get them to that 25, 30% though, right? On cold leads. But that's a really high number. When you talk about referrals though, at 60 to 80%, right? They are so much easier to close, right? You're already pre-positioned for a sale, right? So, but the problem that we find in the roofing industry is that most roofing companies just finish the jobs and walk away. They're done. Okay. They don't systematically ask for a referral. So what we want to do is we want to turn every single satisfied customer into active ambassadors, people that are going out there on our behalf. And I mean, the statistics show that every single customer has in their network, even just on social media, is around 100 people. Okay. So if we do good work, we have to kind of prompt them and ask them to share out that good work and share out the good word about us. Okay. Now, part of what we want to do inside of this pillar is that we want to segment our customers a little bit, right? Into recent, all right, less than 6 months. All right. These are people that have had a recent experience with us. Established. These are people that maybe 6 months to 24 months, 2 years down the road, that we've done business with. And then the legacy, which are kind of over 2 years ago. They might or might not remember us at all. Okay. Or remember their experience. They might have a feeling about it. Oh yeah, that was fine. It went good. The recent people are the ones that we really want to focus on the most. Okay. And that's just because it's top of mind, right? For them. It just happened. So the very first thing that I suggest to everybody, and if you listen to me for any length of time or read my book, I suggest that you give everybody a $250 gift card for every roof replacement referral that signs. Okay. I say $250 because that can feed a family of 4 at a decent steak house or anywhere like that. I typically talk about, in my book, I talked about having a co-branded Texas Roadhouse gift card that you give out. I say Texas Roadhouse because I'm in Texas. There's tons of these things everywhere, right? Everybody here loves the rolls at Texas Roadhouse. And so, everybody loves to go there is my point. However, if you're in parts of the country that don't have Texas Roadhouse, I'm sorry for you. But there are other things out there like Visa gift cards that you can co-brand with your logo. Okay. And again, on the Texas Roadhouse thing, a buddy of mine shared that with me maybe 10 years ago at this point, that Texas Roadhouse will co-brand their gift cards with your logo and their logo on it. Okay. They were one of the few franchise chain restaurants that did that kind of a thing. The point here is that we want to incentivize our customers. Okay. And we can do that with our customers. We can incentivize them. When we get to realtors and insurance agents, we can't really do that kind of a thing. Okay. Just because of regulations, but we can do that with our customers for sure. And we can give them a very powerful, great experience. And that's really where it all comes from, is ensuring that they get a great experience with you. Okay. And so we have several different parts of this that are split up. You have 4 essentially phases. You've got right after the sale. So that's immediate. Then you've got a little bit further down the road, maybe 2 or 3 months down the road. Okay. And then what you want to do after that is nurture them long term. after that. Okay. And periodically ask for a referral. The point here is that these are systematic touch points, right? That keep you top of mind. We love, and almost all of our clients have a monthly newsletter, right? That's giving people valuable information. The whole point of the newsletter is to keep you top of mind. Literally, that's it. No roofers do it either. And some of our roofing companies are like, oh, we don't need that. No, I beg to differ. You actually do need that, because otherwise you're not doing anything whatsoever to stay top of mind. Okay. When a storm comes through, if you're top of mind, you're going to be the first person that they call. And that's exactly what we want. Okay. Let's talk next. I love handwritten thank you cards. Everybody does. But yet none of us do this in our industry. Nobody does it. Some people that I've talked with say that they have done it in the past, but they've gotten away from it. Okay. The cool thing is that with technology these days, like, we have the ability to automate this 100%. And that's what we're starting to do with our own clients here, is automate this entire process. And how do you automate a handwritten card? Well, we have partnered with a place that has a robot essentially that will mimic your handwriting with an actual pen. Right. Because we've all gotten those cards before that, it's in a handwriting font and it looks fake and it just immediately gets thrown out. But if something is actually handwritten and it looks like it came from you, people are going to open it. It's going to surprise them. Right. And every time that I've gotten a handwritten thank you card, it just, all of a sudden you're like, wow, this person was thinking of me. That's awesome. Thank you. Right. Okay. So that's the first step really. And what I suggest, and what you're going to see in the system that I roll out here in the workbooks, is essentially you want your salespeople to do a handwritten note. Okay. You want to do a handwritten thank you note from you, the business owner. Okay. And there are different stages to do that, right? The first part is after the sale. That should come from their main point of contact, the salesperson. If that's you, then that's going to come from you. But if you have a salesperson, right, or that is their main point of contact, initially, that's who it should come from. Okay. When you finish the job, they should get a handwritten thank you card from the business owner, thanking them for using your business, right? That just makes sense. I do this with our clients. I do thank you cards when a sale closes, right? I do thank you cards, periodically. It's hard, right? But if you can automate this, it makes it less difficult and it makes it part of a system. The next point here is cookie boxes, right? Everybody loves cookies. When clients sign on with us, they get and it's actually not cookies, but it's brownies that they get. Okay. We've tried edible arrangements with fruit. Problem is that if they don't go to their office every single day, fruit kind of goes bad, right? So we found that the safest thing to send is either cookies or brownies, right? Something that's not going to go bad in 1 to 2 days. So anyways, when the job completes, this is part of that too, is send them a cookie box. Edible arrangements, you can get these for $30 to $50. It's a small drop in the bucket for a new roof. Okay. $15,000 or more job, right? $50 to send to delight your customers and make you different than everybody else is just a small price to pay. Okay. In that, in the cookie box, I suggest is where you put a card with a QR code that makes it easy for people to refer business to you, right? And asks for it. Do you know anybody else? Super easy thing to do to add into that cookie box. If you have a QR code that goes to a landing page that makes it easy for them, they can hang it up on their refrigerator. They can do something with that card and know that, hey, if anyone asks me for a roofing company and who I used on my roofing company because they, have heard about the experience that I went through, it's right there. Let's make it easy for them to refer business to you. Okay. Next, let's talk about social media. seasonal campaigns, right? Social media. We all know that we should all be doing social media, right? Everybody knows it. I look at these things again all day long, every day. Social media is just completely ignored during the busy season, right? Possibly, I've run across social media that's been ignored for years. Okay, and don't even get me started on that. But what we want to do here is that we want to be sharing out our jobs, right? Job site photos as well as stories, and we share reviews out, testimonials out on social media. We share out educational content that we're creating for our clients on social media. Just all these things should be in there, but in this mix should also be, hey, who else do you know that needs our business, right? Get that referral through social media and ask for it there. Because if you're not asking for referrals, you're not going to get them. Okay. And that goes back to that hope is not a strategy. You're just hoping for a referral. Okay. Let's make this part of the strategy here. Seasonal campaigns. These are things that essentially you can send out what I outlined here inside of this entire thing was a monthly checklist for homeowners to look at to check their roof to see if they need you to come out. Okay. But if you're giving them educational content like this right here seasonably, right? If we're heading into the fall, we need to make sure our gutters are cleaned out, make sure that the roof doesn't have a bunch of leaves on it, those types of things, right? When we head into winter time, we want to make sure that, we're not, if we see any ice starting to formulate on the roof, we make sure that we let them know to get that off so that it doesn't form an ice dam. All of these types of things are educational in nature that most homeowners don't know what to do. And if these checklists are an easy thing that you can do once and send them out and set them to send out on a periodic basis. Okay, so the other things obviously are when you're talking about seasons are storm campaigns, right? As storms come through, we want to make sure that we're going out to our database, our list, and saying, hey, if you had hail, if you had wind that came through, you're a priority. So make sure, let us know if you want us to come out. Okay, that could be an easy campaign that goes out. Next pillar. Okay, so that was the first pillar, our customers. Okay, and I didn't go into too detailed depth because I'm trying to get through these slides and so we can go through a little bit of the workbook here. Okay. Pillar 2, Realtor Priority Program. The big thing here is that realtors, they have a problem that they need to close as fast as possible, but yet roofs typically are a major hangup. When I bought this house that I'm sitting in right now in College Station, Texas, in 2010, right? When we bought this house, it was a little bit older of a house. It was about 20 years old. Okay. And very first thing that the inspection came back is that it needs a new roof. We need a new roof. We need a new water heater. So that was part of our contract, right? But guess what? Because the roofing company that the homeowner chose dragged their feet, it delayed our closing dramatically by a month. And guess what? I was not very happy about that at that roofing company, much less the realtor, right? On letting it drag out. So what I'm going to outline here is a little you might be a little out of your comfort zone here, right? But let's talk about this because speed to sales, speed on everything helps. And when you can make the realtor look like a hero because of your awesome customer service, that helps them refer business to you, right? And it just kind of makes sense. With the realtors, we can't really give them an incentive like we can with the homeowners, right? Our customers. We can't give them a $250 gift card because of the laws that are out there. Okay. But what we can do is provide them make them a priority. Okay. In your whole system. So we already talked about the problems that they're facing, right? The roof issues can kill deals, and people aren't always as patient as I am. And they might not be willing to wait an extra month to close on their house, right? So if you want realtors to refer to you, my suggestion, offer same day inspections. They call you You go out there, you make it a priority. You go out there and offer them and tell them, because you're a part of my program, I'm going to give you same day inspections. Number two, I'm going to give you a 48-hour report. All right. Meaning that in 48 hours or less, I'm going to give you a full report on that inspection. I suggest with the tools that are out there today, with Roofar, you can get those done in less than 24 hours. Okay. Anyways, make it a priority, right? Same day inspections, 48-hour reports. If you get it done faster, do it, but set the expectation in 2 days, you're going to get your report. The other thing that we can provide for them, and this is something that you should already have, right, are closing ready documentation with warranties, receipts, all of these things that help them close the deal. The thing is, the big part of all of this is you're positioning to help them close that job and help them look like a hero to the homeowners and to their friends. Now, again, since you did business with that homeowner, now you can go back to them, right, for a referral program too. Okay, so turn one customer into 5 customers. That's really the point of a really good referral program. Now, let's talk about geeky stuff like the systems and CRMs and stuff like that. Well, I suggest that you set up your prospecting system inside of a CRM. Okay. CRM stands for a customer relation management system. It's software, right? Like AccuLinks, like Job Nimbus, like High Level, like, there's tons of different CRMs out there. Pick one, put your target list, go find a list, build your list, and put it into your CRM. Okay. And build a system around that inside of that CRM. Now, where do you go to find realtors in your area? Well, you've got realtor.com, Zillow, you've got LinkedIn, right? You've got several different places. You got your Chamber of Commerce. I'm sure they're out there at every single Chamber of Commerce event. Okay. It's networking. Once you get their contact information, put them in your CRM, make that your system, make that your discipline, that you put them in there, you tag them as a realtor. Okay. And that way you can segment them out for specific targeted campaigns, and you could probably automate 100% of all this stuff. Okay. But segment them out. If you have everything in a CRM, you can also do what we're going to talk about a little bit later, which is tracking all of this stuff. Okay. You can track who's sending you the most amount of referrals, and you can figure out ways to incentivize them that's not giving them money. Take them out to lunch, right? You can do that. Anything like that, right? Start with 100 of these prospects before you do any kind of outreach. All right. What we're going to talk about here in a little bit. Does that make sense? Make sure that you have a list built up and get them going and start building that relationship. Next, let's talk about scripts, objection handling, follow-up, right? There's sales 101, right? You got to have a script. How do you talk to them? And by the way, all of this stuff is in our workbook, every single bit of it. So you can download all of this stuff. And I'm again, just getting through the slides. Objection handling. That's another thing. We've got a whole list of objections that the realtors are probably going to give you that you can counteract. Okay. But the other part of all of this is that we want to make sure that we are following up on a regular basis with these realtors, just like we are with our own customers, hopefully. Right. And just like we are with prospects for customers, we're following up on a regular basis. All right. Pillar number 3, insurance agents, right? We're going to call this one the Insurance Agent Priority Program. The problem that insurance agents face is a little bit different than the realtors, right? They still want to look like heroes with their customers. Okay. But a lot of times, claims on a roof drag out. A lot of times there's poor documentation. A lot of times, these things drag out a little bit too long. The homeowner gets a little frustrated, which if that goes to the insurance agent gets frustrated and they're not going to refer business over to you. Okay. So what we want though is just the opposite. And we want to do kind of what we're doing with the realtors, and let's make them a priority and show them that they are a priority, which is why we have this priority program here. Okay. So the solution, again, same day inspections, 48 hours to get a report with photos, Make sure you have insurance ready documentation. You can use technology for this. Exactament, right, is something that you can go out and learn how to do and take the training and all that kind of stuff and go through and build these estimates out that are insurance ready. Okay. Use technology as much as you possibly can. And here's the other thing that I suggest. Make sure that you have direct communication with the adjusters. Okay. You're not having to go through an agent. You're not having to go through the homeowner. You talk directly to the adjuster. You go through and you go and make sure that everything is on par with what the insurance agency is looking for, right? And keep the homeowner in the loop, right? That's key on all of this stuff, by the way. Keep them in the loop, but you do the negotiations. Okay. This is customer service stuff. Honestly, this is not marketing stuff, but this all ties together into a nice little bow here. Okay. Now let's talk about how do you find agents? Same way, honestly, LinkedIn is a very good source, right? Your Chamber of Commerce events, they're going to be there too. Go look on Google. Google, you can Google down through Google Business Profile, Google My Business, Google Maps, whatever you want to call it. You can go down, you can get contact information for every single agent in your area. Start building that list up. Okay. There's another one that I found. TrustedChoice.com is another one that has information about insurance agents specifically. Okay. If you can get in with a bigger agency like State Farm or anything like that, then that's makes it a lot easier. But there are tons and tons of independent agents that are out there, right? Brokers. Highly recommend just use Google, use LinkedIn, use the tools that are out there available to you right now. Okay. But put them in that CRM, just like what we talked about with the realtors. So the other part really of this one is just like it with the realtors, and it's all about speed and making them look really, really good. Make them the hero, because the more that you make them the hero in the story, the more they're going to refer business over to you. Okay. Because they're happy, their customers are happy, they're going to refer the business. Okay. All right. We've talked a lot. I've gone through almost 40 minutes here, got kicked off of the internet, all that kind of stuff. But let's talk now about how to actually roll this out, right? This is all nice. We've talked all through this. Pie in the sky at this point, right? How do you actually roll this out? Well, the first phase, right? I suggest you do this in phases. Do not try to roll this out simultaneously. You're just going to get stuck. You're in, and it's not going to work. So I suggest take 12 weeks, take a quarter, roll the customer ambassador program out first. Okay. This next quarter, we're coming into quarter 4, might be getting a little bit slower for you, right? If you're up north, it's going to be getting a lot slower. So make this part of your quarter rock, right? To work on this one program. And I suggest the customer program, if you don't have that already, or you need to fine tune it according to how I've kind of laid this out, I would make that a rock for this quarter. Number 2, again, quarter 1 is going to be slow for most roofers in the country. Realtor priority program, make that a rock to get that one rolled out in quarter 1. Okay. Quarter 2, we're getting a little busier, but since we've got a lot of the things already built in the realtor priority program, we can easily translate that over into the insurance agent priority program. Okay. So simply roll it out one of these at a time. All right. Hopefully that makes sense. Please don't try to do them all at the same time. It's going to blow up in your face. You're never going to get it done. Try to do it one little step at a time. Okay. CRM, make sure that you have a CRM set up. Okay. Make sure that you can set up automated workflows. We outline exactly how to do that in the workbook. Make sure that you track absolutely every bit of your marketing, of your sales, so you know exactly what is working the most. Okay. Make sure that you have your KPIs set, conversion rates, how much it costs, all that kind of stuff. So you can determine at the end of the year, at the end of the month, at the end of the quarter, whatever, right? Exactly what's working, what's not working. And more importantly, you can adjust and fix it. Okay. Oh, I just talked about all of these. Make sure that you have all of these things set up, right? Success matters. right? Success metrics that matter. We've got referral sources, conversion rates, revenue, cost per referral. All right. So tips, let's talk through some tips and tricks. Okay. I've been in business for 23 years. I know it's actually 24, I think. And we have seen a lot of things in that time. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Don't overcomplicate it, right? You get it overcomplicated and it's just never going to stick. Okay. So keep it simple at first and then grow it over time. Okay. Start slow and let it grow. Track and test, right? Any kind of offer, any kind of emails that you send out, any of this stuff, make sure that you're tracking it and testing it on a quarterly basis. At least look at that and make sure, is this working or not working? And how can we make it better? Okay. Next, make it easy to refer you. I say this a lot in marketing. Make it easy for people to hire you. It's the same thing with referrals. Make it easy to refer you. So make sure that you have landing pages with forms on it that people can fill out, and make sure that you have your phone number is easy to find on your website, on your social media, all of those types of things. We want to make sure that it is easy to refer business over to you. Don't make it hard. Again, I already said this. Don't implement it all at once. It's not going to work. It's just not going to work. Okay. Do great work. I mean, that should be a given, but that's not always a given. All right. Sometimes things mess up and that's understandable, but, try to fix it after the fact. Try to fix your systems, try to improve on your systems and do great work. Okay. This should be a given, but it's not. Next, don't do this all yourself. Put someone else in charge of this whole thing. Especially if you've got a team, you've got an office manager, you've got a project manager, you've got someone who is not us entrepreneurs, I'm a very fast start, meaning that I start very fast on things, but actual follow through on that, I struggle with. So I've got lots of people on my team that are great at that, at the follow through part, and I can hand things off. You want to do the same thing in your business on any system that you set up. And this again is a system. Okay. But hand it off. Speed matters. Those same day inspections, 48-hour estimates, all of these things matter in business, right? For sales, but it really, really, really matters for referrals. Now, the last thing, and I say this on almost every single workshop, do what everyone else is not doing. That's how you stand out. Okay. Make sure that you stand out in your local market by doing all of these things that we've laid out. If you go through every single one of our workshops that we've had this year and implement each one of these, you're going to be doing what nobody else is doing. Okay. So I highly, highly suggest that. Okay. So let's talk about this workbook. If you use this QR code, you can download the workbook or just go to roofingsites.com/referral-machine-workbook. Okay. If you're listening to this on the podcast, maybe we'll put it down in the link, down below when we publish the podcast here, and you can go back to it later. But this workbook is actually 3 separate workbooks. So when you click that link, right, or hit that QR code, it's going to give you this. I suggest that you download it to your computer. If you're on your computer, if you're on your phone, you can download it there too. You should be able to read it there. But scroll down. We've got our 4R roofing marketing system framework here. In the downloads, this is really what we're looking at. When you click on each one of these links, it's going to give you a really detailed workbook on exactly how to roll out all these systems, more detailed than what we went over here today. Okay. So if you click on that first one, it's going to show you the ultimate guide to customer referrals for roofers. I think it's about 30 pages long. So it's got a lot of detailed information in here on how to roll this out completely. All right. Including, by the way, it has prompts for you to throw into Canva for some of these things. Okay. Which I did test out. They do work. And it does work very well in order to create these one-pagers. All right, so let's quickly go through. This is the customer referral program, okay, our ambassador program. is what we're going to call it, our customer ambassador program. So you want to make sure that you do all of these. We've got hot ambassadors. These are the segments that we were talking about, right? In your CRM, you want to segment them out into one of these 3 stages right here. And by the way, at the end of each one of these, there's a huge checklist that you can follow on exactly how to roll this out. Okay. This one on the left over here is called implementation checklist. You can go here and just check off one at a time on exactly how to do each one of these things. All right. So we've got how to identify as a section, right? How to identify and organize your ambassador candidates in your CRM. Next major step here is that we have an outline of what the customer ambassador program actually is. Okay. And it goes through here. We do have a landing page that you can just copy and paste and build, for your website, or you can send it to your web designer to do that. Or of course, we'd love to help you out if you need it, but you can send it over to them. Number 4, actually, we've got our journey mapping, meaning that we've got it all mapped out, right? So phase 1 is immediate post sale. What we want to do here in days 1 through 2, days 5 through 7. Phase 2, we've got early ambassador activation, right? And this is day 10 through day 21, day 30 here, where we're mailing out certain things. We're doing specific items, right? It's got it all mapped out for you. Phase 3, we want to develop that or build that ongoing relationship. All right. So this is a monthly thing that we want to do. We want to send out our checklist that we were talking about, our seasonal home maintenance checklist, which is down below here. Quarterly, we want to personally check in, right? Send a message, send a text message, call, whatever, right? Biannually, all right, every 6 months, send them a reminder that we're here to inspect your roof, okay? Make sure that they understand that you're here for them. That's what builds that relationship. Long-term development, the goal here is to create advocates, right? And repeat refers. Semi-annually, we want to send out appreciation gifts, right? You should have this built into your marketing budget for the year. Send out gifts periodically, right? Doesn't have to be fancy. Doesn't have to be anything big. It could be a swag, right? That you already have. It could be a notebook and a pen, right? That's branded with your brand. Send it out as a thank you with a thank you card. Okay. Annually, hold an exclusive customer event or appreciation dinner. Right. That's easy. If you like smoking barbecue like I do, that's drag your smoker out to somewhere where you could do this, and at your office maybe, and hold a customer appreciation event. Your customers will love it. Your agents, you could invite them. Your insurance agents, your realtors, you can invite all of these people into one nice little party. Okay. Ongoing, you want to do social media engagement sharing, right? This should be obvious. You should be doing this anyways on your marketing, sharing out things that's happening in your business, all of those types of things, but just do that on an ongoing basis. Okay. So let's talk about Touchpoints here, right? Which is section 5. And we got 15 sections here. I'm not actually going to go through all of this. There's a lot of information in each one of these, and they are all very, very similar. The Realtor one, I was very excited about when I was building this. This actually could be a whole book all by itself here. Again, it's about 30 pages long, I believe. And we have all sorts of goodies that are in here. Just make sure that you do download these and look through them. Ask me any questions. I'm always available via email, just at chris@roofingsites.com. Just send that on over to me, and I'll answer any questions that you do have about this. Okay. Speaking of which, are there any questions that we have from anyone that is in attendance right now? Any kind of questions about any of this stuff? I know I quickly went through a lot of this. There was a lot to unpack in each of these workbooks. Spent better part of a month building these things. I'm handing the realtor and insurance agent workbooks over to my team, and we're going to be rolling these newer ideas out to all of our diamond programs are going to be getting these. Okay. If you don't have my book in your hand, okay, if you don't have it digitally at least, go here to go.roofingsites.com or use this QR code in order to download my book, The Ultimate Guide to Digital Marketing for Roofers. It has all of this type of information in it, not nearly as outlined as what I just put out there and just handed to you guys with this workbook. Brand new information on that part, but we have a lot of these things. The referral pillar is in here. I talk a lot about going to, realtors and agents and your homeowners in this book. However, it's not nearly as detailed as it is in this workbook. So that's going to be in addition to the workbook or to this book. Next, if you like knowing how all this works, but you would rather that we help, we'd love to help you out. We are on a mission to double the size of 100 roofing companies before 2028. We would love to bring you in and see if we can help you with any of this stuff. Just use this QR code to schedule a time with us, and we will go through your marketing and we'll build a plan together on exactly how to fix your marketing. Okay, because I guarantee it's broken somewhere. So we've got to go through and assess where it's broken, and then we can build that plan together. Okay, but in order to do that, just go to roofingsites.com/schedule. That is hard to say. roofingsites.com/schedule. All right. And you'll book a time with a marketing expert. We'll go through all of your marketing and build the plan together on how to exactly build it. If anything, let's go through it and you can take away exactly what's wrong with your marketing. Do it yourself if you want to, but we would love to have you as part of our clan here.